Okay, so here's something to think about. What happens when you take a sniper movie and flip the script? Instead of the hunter, the sharpshooter becomes the hunted. That's the premise behind Seven Snipers, and it's what we're diving into today.
That's such an interesting twist because sniper movies usually focus on the precision, the strategy, and the hunt. But this one turns all of that inward, making it about survival and protecting what matters most. It's a bold choice for the genre.
Exactly. The story centers on Kris Voodoo Child, Hendricks, played by Radha Mitchell, who's been hiding out on a remote Australian farm with her teenage daughter, Anya. She's trying to live a quiet life, but her past catches up with her in the form of a stranger who's not what he seems.
Right. And that stranger is actually an assassin sent by the dragon, played by Tim Roth. He's this warlord with a vendetta against Hendricks, and he's tracked her down after years of searching. It's such a personal conflict, which makes it even more intense.
And Tim Roth as the dragon is just perfect casting. He's got this way of playing villains that's both magnetic and terrifying. You can't look away even when he's doing something absolutely ruthless. It's like he thrives on chaos.
Oh, absolutely. He's the kind of villain who doesn't just want to win. He wants to completely destroy his opponent. That makes every scene with him feel like a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. And then you've got Hendricks, who's just as determined to protect her daughter and survive.
That's what makes the stakes so compelling. Hendricks isn't just fighting for herself. She's fighting to keep her daughter safe. And Anya, by the way, is a bit of a wild card. She's rebellious, like most teenagers. And at one point, she skips school to head off into the bush with her boyfriend.
That adds such an interesting layer to the story because it forces Hendricks to split her focus. She has to find her daughter and bring her back home before she can even think about dealing with the dragon and his men. It's like the stakes keep piling on.
And to help with that, she calls in White Dog, an old comrade played by Damian Ryan. He brings together a group of ex-military snipers to back her up. But even with their help, it's clear they're outmatched. The dragon is methodical, and his team starts picking them off one by one.
That's when the movie really starts to feel like a chess match. Every move Hendricks makes is countered by the dragon, and you can feel the tension building with each scene. The setting, the remote Australian countryside, only adds to that sense of isolation and vulnerability.
The cinematography by Andrew Condor really captures that isolation. Those aerial shots of the countryside are stunning, but they also serve as a reminder of just how alone these characters are. It's beautiful, but it's also unforgiving.
And then there's the score by Mike Forst, which does such a great job of keeping you on edge. It's one of those soundtracks that makes you feel like something's about to happen, even in the quieter moments. It's a constant reminder of the danger lurking around every corner.
But as much as the movie gets right, it's not without its flaws. The pacing, for instance, starts to falter a bit as it builds toward the final showdown. It's not a deal breaker, but it's noticeable, especially given how strong the setup is.
I agree. It's a shame because the first half of the movie is so tightly wound. You're completely engaged, and then it loses a bit of that momentum. But at 88 minutes, it doesn't overstay its welcome, which is a plus.
And a lot of the movie's strength comes from the performances. Radha Mitchell, in particular, is fantastic as Hendricks. She brings this intensity and focus to the role that makes you believe she's someone who's been through hell and back. You can see it in her eyes, in the way she carries herself.
Totally. Mitchell really sells the idea that Hendricks is a survivor. She's tough, but there's a vulnerability there too, especially when it comes to her daughter. And speaking of Anya, Annabelle Wolfe does a great job in that role. You can see the similarities between mother and daughter. The strength, the stubbornness. It's clear Anya is her mother's daughter.
And then there's Tim Roth, who's just having a blast as the dragon. He's one of those villains you love to hate. He's charismatic, but absolutely ruthless. And that combination makes him so compelling to watch.
Definitely. And let's not forget the supporting cast, which includes Ryan Quanten and Iowan Gruffudd as part of White Dog's crew. They don't get a ton of screen time, but they add to the dynamic and help flesh out the story.
So, here's the thing. While Seven Snipers has a lot going for it, it's not without its issues. The pacing problems toward the end are noticeable, and some of the secondary characters feel a bit underdeveloped. But overall, it's a solid entry in the action thriller genre.
I'd agree with that. It's not a perfect film, but it's engaging enough to keep you invested for its relatively short runtime. And the themes it explores, like the danger of keeping secrets from loved ones, add some emotional depth.
Right, and that theme came from writer Andrew O'Keefe's personal experience. After his mother passed away, he started thinking about the consequences of hiding the truth for too long. That idea really grounds the story, even amidst all the action.
It does. And I think that's what makes Seven Snipers stand out, even if it doesn't completely reinvent the genre. It's got heart, it's got tension, and it's got some strong performances. So, is it worth seeing? I'd say yes, especially if you're a fan of action thrillers.
I'd say the same. It's not going to blow your mind, but it's a solid, well-crafted movie that delivers on what it promises. Plus, at 88 minutes, it's a quick watch. So, if you're in the mood for some high-stakes drama and a bit of adrenaline, it's worth checking out.
Agreed. And hey, even if it's not perfect, sometimes you just want a movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Seven Snipers definitely does that.
Absolutely. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Any final thoughts?
Just that it's always refreshing to see a movie that combines action with a bit of emotional weight. Seven Snipers might not be groundbreaking, but it's a solid ride.
Seven Snipers scores a 6.5 out of 10. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.